if you are going to keep from giving up, if you're going to keep going, persevere, you got to do some contrasting. Meaning you got to contrast the now with the later, the bad with the good. What's cracking? This is Zach with Quest for Greatness, finishing up that second part about how to keep from giving up, because everybody talks about not to give up, don't ever give up, but how do I keep from doing that? What do I remember? Give me something tangible that I can do when those times come up. So we talked about 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 through 18, and he says we do not lose heart. That's the idea. And talks about various situations that they're put in, but they are not crushed, they are not finished, they are not destroyed, they keep going. And even if you're not a Christian, if this doesn't appeal to you, you can use these concepts in a sense and keep from quitting. That's what it's all about, right? He says in verse 17, this light momentary affliction. And you say, man, I don't identify with that, because what I'm going through is not momentary. In fact, it's been lasting for months or weeks or years or whatever it is. But perspective, for the Christian and for the Bible perspective, the idea is to compare it with this glory that's coming and what's to be good. So no matter how bad life is, and who's the model? Jesus. His whole life was suffering, was difficult. And no matter how bad that is, there was always something to rejoice over and to look forward to. So you gotta keep perspective. You know, how bad is it really? I don't subscribe to this mentality that, well, there's always somebody that has it worse, so somebody else's misery is supposed to help me out. That doesn't work for me. But if I can keep in mind the forest, the bigger picture, if I can keep what matters the most, if I can remember what's coming, always having something to hope for. That's a big one. Hope is the anchor to the soul, Hebrews 6:19. If I have something to put that in perspective, that keeps me from quitting. Because when you're suffering, when it hurts, when you feel like quitting, it feels like the biggest thing in the world, whatever it is you're going through at that moment. And finally, keep in mind the things that are unseen. Keep in sight, if you will, the things that are unseen. We walk by faith, not by sight. It would be great if you could fix your problems, if you had a solution right now, but you trust and have faith that it will work out, that God will work it out, that there's a purpose, all those things, and keep your mind on things that you don't see. You don't see the solution. You don't see the end game. You don't know how you're going to get through it. And that's where faith comes in. And faith is the hardest thing to have when you need it the most. Gratitude is the hardest thing to be or have when you need it the most. You know, it also says, remember the stuff that you can see that seems to be so important. It's transient in the ESV, meaning that stuff is temporary. It's going to go away. It doesn't last. That's why people who are trying to chase down happiness in stuff and things and events, they're just going to keep chasing, and they got a hole they ain't never going to fill. Moment's a key word. He says momentary affliction, because it's time has to be put in perspective. It feels like it's so long. It feels like it's too much, like the answers aren't coming quickly. The solutions aren't coming quickly. And he says it's momentary. So keep the light in perspective, the weight of it, keep the time aspect in perspective. And also he says it's preparing, so it has a purpose. Now see, that's the beauty of Christianity that some of you, a lot of you are missing out on, is it gives everything a purpose. The difficulty, the suffering, the hard times, the stuff that makes you feel like giving up, it all has purpose, and it's to prepare me. I'm practicing for later on. I'm gonna suffer now and enjoy, for lack of, I wouldn't say rejoice later, because that's for now too, but I'm practicing for later on when I will be relieved. Can I have faith? Can I keep going? Can I smile through it? Can I see the bigger picture in the middle of it? But the stuff that's not seen, that stuff is eternal. When this veil is ripped away, when judgment comes, when all this stuff is burned up and done away with, we're left with a spiritual world that is unseen right now, and that will be eternal, and I want to be eternal too. So there's always, you can use perspective if you're not a Christian. You can remember that this stuff feels like it's lasting forever, and you can put it in perspective as far as time. You can think about once you're through it, once you're done with it, the rewards and how you'll grow from it, and even you can find purpose in it as well. I don't think you'll find this kind of purpose, but you understand what I'm saying. You can relate to that. Now, this is not all inclusive, so add to it. Yeah, how to keep from giving up. I know there's more to it. I know there's more in the Bible. I know there's more thoughts, there's more perspectives. Add to it. Below you is the comment section. I hear you people talking to me, and I appreciate that. But comment on here and let's get this conversation generated. Let's get some excitement, a spark generated about this. How not to give up. That's at least some things you can grab hold of right now, that you can do, that you can put in your pocket for later when you're in those moments, because I've been in them and some of them lately. I hope this helps you out. This is my quest for greatness, and more to come. It's going to get better as we keep going. There's a cop right there, so I gotta act like I ain't doing nothing but talking to, yeah, I ain't gonna show them to you because I don't want them to see my camera. And they ain't but two around here, and I, you know, no disrespect to cops, but they ain't but two around here, and they got time, you know what I'm saying?